guys, welcome to My Sew Bliss. Today I'm so excited to be partnering with Baby Lock sewing machines and bringing you another sewing tutorial. Today I'm going to be using the Baby Lock Zest. If you have seen my other tutorials with this machine, you know that I love this machine for beginners. It is simple and basic, and really it's the perfect machine to start sewing on. This is also a great machine to have around if you don't sew a lot but you want to fix your clothes, maybe put a button on or fix a hole in your jeans. Or today I'm going to show you how to fix a rip in a pocket. So things like that, this machine is perfect for. So I'll put links down below for it so you guys can go and check it out and see all the cool features that Baby Lock has and all of the machines that they have to offer. So today I'm going to show you guys how to fix a rip in a pocket of a pair of pants. I have these dress pants that my husband wears to work, and this pocket has been ripped open, if you can tell right here. It's gotten snagged on some chairs, and I'm sure from his hands going in and out it was loosening up a little bit, and so it's just ripped and pulled away. So I'm going to show you guys how you can fix that at home and even reinforce it and make it a little bit stronger. So let's get started.
So for our first step, I want to start fixing this part down here and really reinforcing it. This is where it got snagged on a chair, and probably from my husband putting his hands in and out of his pockets. I think that just comes loose over time. So we want to fix that. So I'm going to take, you can see this seam right here. So I'm going to take that and put it inside and tuck it in. It's a little tricky because the lining on the inside, the white lining, is not stitched to it. So we kind of gotta go around that. So once that is tucked in, I'm just gonna hold it with my fingers and then go in to the inside and flip it over. And like I said, we got to get that lining, this is our pocket, and the lining out of the way so that we're not sewing that in, because that is not what we need to sew. But instead we're sewing, you can look underneath, this part is what has come undone right here. And then if we look on this side, you can see it came undone right here too. So I already trimmed those threads, and that is what we want to get sewn back into place. And you could even see I could stick my finger in and it would come out on this side just like that. So really we just need to tuck this in there. I untucked it, so now I need to retuck it, but I need to tuck that back in and sew that down. And that I'm going to sew down with my machine, and I'm really going to reinforce it. So hopefully it doesn't come out again unless it gets ripped by a chair, stuck on a chair again. But just from the weight of my husband's hand or his phone in his pocket, that shouldn't alter it at all. So hold that in place, and then I'm going to come on the inside and make sure everything is looking good. And I'm actually going to sew it from the inside. And you can see right here, this lining is not sewn in on this part right here. It's just barely sewn in on the other side. So here's the inside again. Here's that stitching that came undone. And I'm going to go through and re-stitch this and back stitch at the beginning and the end, just to really reinforce that, and we'll kind of go from there and see how that helps. So I'm starting a little ways back, just so I can get a good stitch going and make sure to back stitch really good. So I'll start there, and then I'm going to back stitch little bit and then keep going. I'm just making sure everything is laying flat and there's no puckering, because we don't want to add any funny looks to the side of the pants. And then I'm just going to go right to where the stitching ended, and then take that out and we'll see how that looks. And again, I backstitched at the beginning and at the end. Okay, so here's that stitching. Here's it on the other side. It really looks nice on the other side. I can trim these extra threads. There we go. Okay, so that met up well. Let's see how it looks on the front, what it did for us. Okay, that looks really good. Okay, and it did encase that back in there. So that is exactly what we wanted. Now, if you see really close, you can see there's a little bit of stitching right here. It's hard to tell with these darker pants, but there's a little bit of stitching, and that is to hold the pocket so that something like this won't happen, and so that the weight of your hand or a phone isn't going to stretch out the pocket. So we're gonna do that one more time, just right over it. I'm gonna make it a little bigger and come out a little farther, and hopefully that will really reinforce that pocket and make it look really nice. You can see up here there is another one, and that is exactly what we're going to do up there as well, is fix this and adjust that and then stitch that back in place. So let me show you how we'll do that over on the sewing machine. So on this machine, to get the effect that we're going for, I'm going to turn it so that it's on the 1 for the buttonhole stitch, and that is just going to be a really nice zigzag stitch. That would usually be one side of a buttonhole. And then I'm going to take my stitch length and put it down to a 1. I want it really tight so that it's just really secure on there. So we're going to make sure to do that. And then I'm going to take my pants. Let me check. We don't want to get in the way of the pocket. Okay, yeah, I think it'll be small enough that it will be just fine. So I'm going to take it, and here we have the pocket. I'm going to make sure there's no puckering, no extra layers in there, because we definitely don't want that. And I'm going to start out, I'm probably going to come out about 1/2 inch, and that's just going to give us a really strong reinforcement for this pocket. And then I'm going to hold my thread as I start stitching and put that needle down, and I'll take some stitches and do some back stitches, and then I'll go to the seam. There, and then I'm going to back stitch all the way to where I started, and then I'm going to go down all the way to the seam again, back stitch just a couple times, and then lift my foot and trim those threads. Okay, so once you have that stitching done, here is what it looks like. Just looks like a nice bar tack, and then on the inside I just did a tiny bit on the lining, but it won't mess with the pocket, so that's okay. And then up here at the top, what I'm going to do is first just clean it up a little bit, get all these fraying threads out of the way, just so it looks nice. And make sure that it's in place. So especially right here, kind of looks like it's pulling out. It's not quite yet, so we just want to make sure that doesn't happen. So I'm going to just tuck that in a little bit And then I'm going to do the same thing and just stitch right over this bar tack that's already there. And I'm going to make my own that's a little bit stronger and a little bit longer. And it'll match this one down here and hold that pocket in place really nicely. So here I have it still set up just like before. I'm going to make sure everything underneath is laying nice and flat. Don't want any puckering or tucks. I'm going to make sure this is all the way in where it's supposed to be. And then I'll come over here a little farther out is where I'm going to start. And then I can start stitching. And I'll go all the way down. I'm gonna go slightly past the line of the pocket. So right here, I'm gonna go slightly past that. And then I'm gonna back stitch. And then I'll go forward again, all the way. And then I'm gonna back stitch all the way again. Just to give it a real good amount of strength. And then all the way forward. And then I'll back stitch just a couple stitches to finish it off. And then take it out. So here's what that stitching looks like right now. And you can see right here, it's kind of still fraying a little bit. So I'm actually gonna take what's called fray check. I just get this at Joann's. And I'm gonna put a little bit on there. It's gonna stop the threads from fraying so much. And I'm just gonna put a little dot right on the spots that need it most. And then I'll just kind of spread that out over that seam right there. And I could even put a little bit on my stitching to hold that stitching in place really nicely. Okay, and then I just let that dry for about 24 hours and then it should be ready to go.
And then once you've let that fray check sit for about 24 hours, your pants pocket should be all done and should be looking really nice and ready to go again. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to give it a thumbs up and to subscribe. And make sure to check out the Baby Lock Zest. I will leave links down below for it. Again, like I said, this is a wonderful machine. Perfect for beginners or perfect for someone who doesn't sew but wants to be able to fix their clothes and do those kind of hands-on things themselves instead of taking it to someone else. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any comments or questions, make sure to leave them in the comment section down below, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!